Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and we're producing this episode for GoodCrowd.info. Our guest today is Josef Holm, the CEO and founder of both TubeStart and his new project, Krowdster. Josef, welcome to the show.
Hey, Devin, thanks for having me. It's great to be on again.
Well, we're thrilled to have you back. It's just a blast to always catch up with you. Josef, tell us what Krowdster is.
All right, so Krowdster is basically my answer to a problem that I've encountered from day one since I got involved in this industry and started to help people raise money on crowdfunding platforms, which was, the decision-making process, the pre-campaign process, and building a crowd that cares enough to actually support you and be successful. Now, from day one, we've encountered that the biggest problem is that people are finding it difficult to choose the right platform, to choose the right category, and also to realize where they are at in terms of their fundraising abilities and where they can be. So Krowdster has different features that address all these issues to provide a big data-powered approach to solving all these problems.
So let's talk about how the tool can help you design your campaign, how you can choose a platform. I don't understand. How does it do all of those things? Walk us through it.
Okay, that's a great question. So the tool is divided in separate modules. There are 8 different modules. One of the biggest parts of it is the analytics section. We have collected and analyzed over 500,000 crowdfunding campaigns from Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Possible, Rocket Hub, and TubeStart to find out what makes a successful campaign and what makes an unsuccessful campaign, and also to give people, a real-time evidence-based overview of the performance of the different platforms. It was very surprising to us that, for example, there are very different success rates across different categories and different platforms. So this is meant to help people make an educated decision whether Kickstarter is the best, or Indiegogo, or maybe TubeStart, depending on what kind of project they would like to get funded. So that's one part of it. Another part of it is the campaign optimizer. So using all this data that we have collected, we can make very specific predictions and recommendations as to how you can optimize your crowdfunding campaign. So there is this module called Campaign Optimizer, where you simply go and you paste in your campaign URL or your preview URL and click a button, and it will give you a 9-step inspection and recommendation list of things that you can do to improve your crowdfunding campaign. Now, this ranges from simple things like whether or not your title is too long or too short, whether or not your description is too short, whether or not you have enough images, but also very interesting things like, do you have enough rewards set up with the right price points to really hit that sweet spot and make sure you have a nice selection of rewards that you can offer people.
Now,
so that's the second part.
Those are really powerful insights that people have been trying to answer in more subjective ways. You're now bringing kind of the art of big data to this, the science of big data to this. How much do you charge people to access this?
So this is a freemium model. All the analytics data is accessible for free. We've decided to not charge people for that. I think it's very important for this data to be out there. As you know, there is a lot of demand and a big lack of evidence-based information. So that's one side of it. And then there are the premium features such as the Crowd Builder, which is a collection of over 500,000 crowdfunding supporters that you can connect with and engage with through our database, or the Campaign Optimizer, or the Social Media Gauge. Now, the Social Media Gauge is a very interesting little thing. You can go there, you can tell it how much money you would like to raise, you can tell it how many Twitter followers you have, and you can tell it how many Facebook friends you have. And it will tell you, based on the 500,000 campaigns that we have analyzed, how much money you can realistically expect to raise. This is a very important first step, just to know where you are at and what you can expect, so you know what you need to do.
And how much do you charge to be able to access that database?
All right, so the monthly membership is $49. That gives you access to all the premium features: the Crowd Builder, the Campaign Optimizer, the Social Media Gauge, And next Monday, we're actually releasing a very interesting new feature, which will allow people to do a media outreach very simply and easily from within the Krowdster interface and reach over 500,000 journalists in each category.
Wow, that's a powerful, powerful tool set for $49. So, how have you built this? Give us a sense of where the data is coming from, because the quality of the data determines the value of that it has, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So all the data from the campaigns come from the platforms directly. We collect it from there several times a day. All the social media data comes from the social media platforms directly. We're actually connected to all the social media APIs and listen to all the crowdfunding chatter, take all that information in, and then process it and put it in a way that's actually usable to people.
That sounds almost overwhelming to me. It's amazing that you've been able to do that. You act like you just did it one afternoon, but that sounds like quite a project to pull all that data and analyze it in a meaningful way. So what kind of traction are you getting? What are the results people are having from it? Are you getting feedback from your users?
Oh yes, we're getting a lot of really, really positive feedback, which is just so amazing and so motivating too to keep going. This is very new. We've launched Krowdster about 3 months ago. We have 2,500 users on the system right now. We're getting about 100 new users a day, so we're very, very happy about that. We're getting a lot of really good feedback. It's always work in progress, and the beautiful thing about SaaS software is that we can update it on the fly, and everyone will always have access to the latest version of it. So we make changes and improvements to it on a daily basis. It's just never ending.
That's great. Now, I want to talk to you about a couple of, if you will, some thought questions. You've chosen to really focus a lot of energy on crowdfunding, and obviously you could be doing a lot of things. Why have you chosen to focus on crowdfunding?
Because I truly believe that it doesn't happen very often in the life of an online entrepreneur to come across something disruptive and powerful as crowdfunding. When I first heard of it, I was like, oh my gosh, of course. I mean, duh, right? Why haven't we been doing this for many, many years? And back then, I actually thought of what we call the Title III crowdfunding, which we're still kind of waiting for it to become legal. But the concept in itself, it's just crazy. I grew up in a country, I'm from Austria, I grew up in a country with no VC, no startup culture. There is no real support for startups. It's really, really hard to get anything funded, especially when it's like an innovative tech idea. So to me, building something that actually helps entrepreneurs and startups to get ahead and raise the money they need to bring their ideas and their products to market, that's something that's really close to my heart.
Sure. Now, all entrepreneurs are fundamentally optimists. I'm fond of saying that when an entrepreneur is presented with the glass and it's half full, and you ask him, is that half full or half empty, he'd usually respond, it's 3/4, maybe 7/8 full, right? We're all optimists, but that doesn't mean we're exempt from having tough days. And on those tough days, maybe it helps especially to have a role model or someone that you look to for inspiration. Who is that person for you?
There are a few. One person that has really been my role model for many, many years now is Richard Branson. I've read his autobiography. I think the first one maybe 10 years ago, and it was very eye-opening because you know how people always just see the successful entrepreneur being out there in the media and on his yacht and living the nice lifestyle that we all want, but he's had tough times too. Most successful people at one point in their career went broke or almost broke or had to really risk everything to get ahead. And these things, for us little guys who are just starting and coming up in the world, these are kind of, comforting things to know. So I've really admired him because he also comes from a middle-class, normal kind of background, and he really worked his way up. He had difficulties in school, and he's now focusing on doing good things, and that's what I would like to see myself doing too in the future. Like my dream job in the future is be a new kind of VC. someone who comes up with an idea of just making the whole funding process easier, maybe include crowdfunding in the mix and make it a lot easier for new ideas to come up. I mean, it is easier in the United States to raise funding than it is in Europe, but it's still way too hard.
It is indeed. Now, one of the things that I like to say about our show is that we don't appeal on this show to kind of a lowest common denominator. Instead, we appeal to what I describe as the greatest common factor, this shared desire that we have to do good, to have more impact. And I wonder if you would give us one good tip for having more impact as an entrepreneur.
I think that is really simple, actually. The one thing that I try to do is just try to have a few minutes for everyone who knocks on my email door and has a question, and I try to take some time, even if I don't know them and even if I don't benefit from it, just answer a quick question, point them in the right direction, because many times for me these have been like those eye-opening moments where, like, oh my God, I didn't know about this website, thank you so much, and it doesn't cost me much. And I think just trying to kind of stay connected and take some time for people to help them little by little every day. That's my approach.
That's a great tip, Josef. Thank you very much for sharing that. Now, before you go, I want you to just take a minute for us and tell us how people can find Krowdster. Let's not leave this a mystery. How do people find that and engage with you to learn more about it?
Okay, first of all, I made the mistake of picking a crazy domain name. So Krowdster is spelled with a K and ends with .co, not .com. So the website is www.crowdster with a K.co. We're also on Twitter at Krowdster, obviously on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. We're pretty active in the social media space. Or you can just email me directly at joseph@crowdster.com.
Very good. Well, Josef, thank you very much for being here with us. We wish you every success with this, because the more you succeed, the more good happens in the world.
Thank you so much, Devin. I appreciate it.
All righty. Let's do some good.